Okay, and we have Ian in the studio and Daniel running technical support. And so that's how it goes here. And I have been doing a little, oh, hi, Sarah Jane, a little introduction to the landscape of our garden. And Peter's our landscaper. And he's responsible for these monsters. Pavonia. Yes! But he didn't tell us that when we planted them, they were going to grow to 6 meters tall. Shouting? Anyway, so welcome to Friday. I always try to say some words of wisdom, and these come from Judith Lassiter, I think, unless they don't. And it's from her book, which is called Relax and Renew, which is a wealth of information. And she says at the beginning of it, do you resist the call to rest? No, none of us would do that here, no. But actually, I had that problem this week because I don't know why. I was just really tired, and instead of taking advantage of resting when I could, I just got busy, like that. So anyway, I made up for that today, and I did several restorative poses. And now we're going to start with some simple breathing. And let's be in a seated position. Yes. And let me just do a reality check for everybody. How is this movement? That's all right. That's brilliant. Okay, that's all you need for this. So interlock your hands and then turn your palms down. Bring your knuckles underneath your chin and create good posture by lengthening up and having a neck like a swan. And then with your knuckles facing out, press your palms forward and round your back until your shoulder blades are spread. Then change directions and bring your arms straight up towards the ceiling. And then slide them apart, bring your hands behind you, interlock your hands, and throw your shoulders back. Beautiful. And then release. And unfortunately, I didn't mention anything about breathing for this breathing exercise. Just a major missing out. Okay, let's go again. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, stretch forward, round your back. Inhale, go up, and your hands are inside out. And then release. Exhale, shoulders back. Inhale, release. Here we go again. In breath. Out breath. In breath, big one. Exhale, hands back. Inhale, throw your shoulders back. Release. Brilliant. Let's go one more round like that. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Actually, keep your hands behind you. And another thing I had come up this week was my neck got a little bit wry. I think too much computer. So your hands are behind you. Bring your hands around towards your left waist. And then just dip your ear towards your left shoulder. Upright, bring your head upright. Change directions, your hands bringing around to the right waist, and then dip your head towards the right shoulder. Let's do that all over again because it can be a nice neck stretch. Make sure that you're not overdoing. And left ear towards your left shoulder. Release. Other side. dip to the right shoulder, back upright, and then release your hands. And now we've had a chance to have some nice chats, and I believe we should be muted. And I have a new arrival here, which is Fran, and welcome Fran in the studio. And mute all. Beautiful. All right, let's continue. Now that you are quiet and I'm speaking. All right, come over to your mat. And take a lying down position on it, face up. It'll be handy to have a strap next to you and also a foam block. All right. Now, to be kind to your back, lift your knees towards your chest, so your feet off the floor, hold at the front of your knees, and then circle your knees. These are more or less small circles, about the size of a saucer through the lower back, or you can make them a little bit bigger, like dinner plate size. Whatever feels good for your back. And go the other way. So knees and feet are together, and you're just stirring the porridge. And then back to the middle position, and keep your hands there, keep your legs there. Straighten your arms, push your knees away from you. Exhale, bring your knees in with a squeeze through your abdomen. Lengthen your arms out, away from you, knees away from you. Inhale, exhale, bring them in. Now, I shouldn't be calling the pace. Go with your own breath rhythm. And we'll do a few more cycles like this. And just to make this little more interesting and possibly more aware for you, when you bring your knees in towards your chest, see if you can keep moving your buttock bones away towards the floor. When your knees are away from you, they're naturally towards the floor, and then keep them moving in that direction as you bring your knees towards your chest. Knees away, knees in, buttock bones start to lift up, but you're going to press them down. And the main thing is that you're feeling some sensations in hip work here. Pelvic tilts and buttock bones. All right, and then let's finish there and bring your feet back to the floor. Bend your right knee towards your chest. Slip your hands around to the back of the knee, and then straighten that leg up towards the ceiling. Have a look at your beautiful, I'm on my right leg, right foot, and then like you did with your hip movement, circle your foot. And it's not just your foot, is it? It's your toes, your foot bones, your ankle bones, but preferably your upper and lower leg are still. Go the other way. And you might file away the feeling of this to be able to compare it to the other foot when we get there. All right, and then because we can do this and it's really great for your mobility, then press your foot up towards the ceiling, point your toes away from the knee. Then go the other way and draw your toes down towards your knee and extend your heel up. And we'll alternate between those two potentials of movement. I don't know, you might be noticing how that feels in the rest of your leg, especially the lower leg. Okay, and then we're going to pause there with your foot in neutral and turn your foot to the left side. So your sole of your foot towards the left side, and then sole of the foot towards the right side. And you're getting these two ankle and foot movements that are kind of a rolling action. It's just turning left, turning right. If you were a podiatrist, you would call this pronating and supinating. And I'm not going to tell you which is which. You have to figure that out. And one more time in that rolling action, each side, and then pausing in the middle. All right, let's work with the hamstrings at the back of your leg. So with your foot facing the ceiling, we're going to work through knee bending and knee straightening. So dropping your right heel towards your right buttock, then straightening the right leg up towards the ceiling. And bending and straightening. And that's pretty simple. Sometimes when we do simple actions, then they become mechanical. So let's do this with more awareness. When you extend the leg, then push up against an imaginary weight, as though you had a sandbag on your foot, and pushing up against that imaginary weight until you can, I hope, experience more of your leg muscles and your hip muscles working. So a strong push up activates outer thigh, front thigh, and of course you're stretching hamstrings. All right, and then the last time you extend the leg up against that imaginary weight, and then soften the leg down, heel to buttock, and rest your right foot on the floor. Extend the right leg out, the left leg out, and then just let the leg flop slightly. Or maybe it feels like a lot for you. So the hip drops out, the right leg, even the right foot and the arches of the foot. And then let's start all over again on the left side. So I don't mind, you can have your right leg straight where it's on the floor, or keep your right leg bent with your heel close to your buttock. Now bring your left leg in and hold behind the knee onto the thigh and extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Hello, left foot. And then we work with the circles. And maybe you filed away the memory of the first side and you can compare it with this side, which you don't need to know it, but I had a bad sprain on this foot, so it doesn't work as smoothly or as glidingly, if that's a word, as the other side. And if you haven't rotated the other way, then go that way. There's also some little clicking movements on this side that happens. All right, and then pause in the center, and then let's go flex your foot up, extend away from you, flex your foot down. Good to know these anatomical words if you like collecting words. And we go from plantarflexion and then dorsiflexion, alternating in those two movements, and curious about how this is working. What sensations do you feel on your lower leg? Okay, good. I'm going to pause there, and then we're going to look at internal rotation, turning your left foot to the right, and external rotation, left foot to the left. Good. And back and forth. Beautiful. One of these movements might be a little less accessible to you. Not acceptable. Okay, good. And then pause there in the center. And now let's work with the hamstring stretch, which is so much more than that. So dropping your left heel towards your left buttock, extending the left leg up towards the ceiling. And then straight away, working with that 3-pound kilo that's on the foot when it's extended. And really, that's quite a weight. And when the leg is in full extension, keep the muscles working around the top of the thigh. Maybe you feel a little bit of your core muscles, what we call the abdominal muscles, the rectus femoris and the, what else? Transverse abdominis. Good. One more time. Leg extends, leg bends, and then let's give that leg a rest too. Both legs, extend them out. And feel whatever sensations there are there to experience. By doing this way of working, so we limit thinking, trying to figure things out, just sensing and feeling how your body is with these various movements. All right, bring your legs all the way together. And we're going to do a shoulder stretch here. So with your legs and feet together, flex your feet so your toes are drawn back towards your knees. You just did this movement. And your arms are straight by your side. Go the other way, point your toes away from you, and with an inhalation, extend your arms overhead. Not forcing, but just moving slowly with flow. And then exhale, arms back down by the side, toes back towards your knees. Inhale, big good breath in as you can. Exhale, arms back down. Let's add another movement. So when your arms are overhead and your toes pointing away, tilt your chin up slightly. And then exhale, bring your chin down towards your chest. And alternating both different elements all at the same time. Let's go one more round and inhale, and arms overhead. Exhale, arms by your side. And then finishing there, let your shoulders relax out, maybe your feet relax out. And let's continue with a few bridge poses. So somewhere near you, I have a foam block. Take it up, and it's got the different angles to it. Have it mid-range. It's not too wide, it's not too narrow, between your knees. Then clutch your knees against it and press your feet into the ground. Feel your whole footprint, your forefoot and your heel as well, and start to lift your buttocks off the floor. As you curl up, moving up the spine, no particular rush, and then coming back down until your buttocks touch down. Good, too easy. Let's make it a little bit more of an awareness exercise. So pressing against the block for the next bridge, press on the little toe side of your foot. So we're balancing the inward pressure through your thighs against the block, the outer pressure against the little toe and outer heel. And coming down, nice and easy does it. And we'll go two more, and in this one we'll make it just a little bit more complicated. So as you raise up and press against the block, tilt your chin up again. And as you lower down, bring your chin down towards the jugular notch and extend the back of your neck. Last one. Inhale, lifting up. We're not holding these, we're just moving with the breath. and exhale back to ground. Good. And while we're here like this, let's do one more bridge variation. There's so many of these things that we can do, and they're all very interesting. And this is just to tone your feet a bit more. So draw your feet in closer to you. And you can get them in really close if you lift your heels off the floor. So your heels are off the floor, and then find weight through the forefoot and all of the backs of the toes, little toe too. So working without the block this time, but tracking the knees straight. Going to lift up, and you're kind of on point on your toes and lifting the heels up. Good. Come back to ground. Keep your heels up. And let's go 2 more times. So there's the tilt of the pelvis, tucking under as you go up. And then the hip bones lifted high. And then coming back down to ground. Good. Last time. Where we can hold it and then feel the transfer of weight back onto the toes, the balls of the feet, pressing against an imaginary block without clutching your buttocks. And then coming back down and happily coming down to rest and heels down. The feet a little bit apart, let your knees rest against each other. And then let all the work that you did on your hips and your buttocks and all of that, let all the effort go out of your body. Okay. And then counterposing the bridges, we'll do some of the floor twists. And this is a good place to start from. So have your knees a little bit separated, your feet a little bit separated, and let your knees flop over to the right side. There's no big deal there. The right knee might come near to the floor, all the way to the floor, and then as a nice neck movement, allow your head to loll towards the left side. And then switch it over, and knees go to the left, your head maybe looking over to the right side. And that was so lovely. Let's repeat it. Knees right, head left. All right, so make this very unforced, and if your neck doesn't feel good with that movement, keep your head center. All right, and then we're going to stop there and add another element to this. So with your knees and feet still slightly apart, drop your knees to the right side, and then you might bring your left knee up a little bit and press into your left footprint. As you press into your left footprint, left buttock lifts a little bit more, and then extend your right arm overhead. So your right arm is straight along the floor, just out from your right ear. Good. Switch it over. Draw that right arm in, knees to the left. Instead of dropping the right knee all the way to the floor, then press your right foot into the floor, lift that right buttock a little bit, and then extend the left arm out beyond your left ear. Good. Pushing into that foot gives a little more back bend to what you're doing. It's also stronger rotation. Back to center. One more round like that. Things work really well on repetition. Pressing your right shoulder blade, left foot, and then one more time over to the left. And we're finished there, and back to center with your arms by the side of your body and 2 feet on the floor. All right, let's go on from there to do some little back bends. When I first learned these, we called them baby back bends, as opposed to advanced back bends. So roll over onto your stomach. So even though we're doing a more or less of a restorative pose practice, I thought it would be nice just to wake up the body a little bit with these back bends. So take a reclining position, lying belly down. And then from there, extend your arms back alongside your legs. On your chin or on your forehead. All right, then just a couple of clues to make this kinder to your back. Have your legs relatively close together, all the way together. And then at the moment, your palms are downwards. Wriggle your feet into the ground and press the tops of your feet, well, especially the toes pressing into the floor, your toenails. And then from there, with your legs firmly anchored, press your pubic bone too, and start to do a lift off. Head comes up, chest comes up, and then to complete the cycle, lift your arms as well. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling, and lift your hips a little bit high, your hands a little higher than your hips. Palms come to face the floor now, palms downwards, and then lower down, and rest there. Let's go again. Head comes up, feet press down, legs press down, pubic bone presses down, lifting up, looking out towards the horizon, and then palms face the ceiling. Lift your hands, lift your shoulders, and lower down to the floor. And in the staging of what we're doing, let's add one more element there, so that when you lift up, you're going to draw your navel up away from the floor. So press your feet down, press your pubis down, lift your head and your chest, lift your arms, turn your palms up towards the ceiling, and imagine that you've got a little, just a single grape where your navel is, and you don't want to squash it. Collarbones. So lift your head and your chest, and then reach back and grab the front of your right ankle with your right hand. So you bent your right leg in, heel to buttock, holding at the front of the ankle. And our method here is to stretch the front of the right thigh. So to do that, press your right thigh into the floor. Can you feel that? You might feel like a big stretch to the front thigh muscle. Good. Let's go the other side. So you could prop yourself up on your right arm in line with your collarbones across the front of your chest. Reach back after you bent your left leg to hold the front of the ankle. And then press the left thigh into the floor. And what I'm picturing here, I can feel it. I'm pretty sure it's happening. The stretch of my front thigh is from my hip to my knee. Good. And then release down. And we'll do one more movement here. So let your head rest onto the floor, your forehead or your chin. Extend your arms back alongside your body. This time bend both legs in, heel to buttock. This time reach your right hand back to hold the front of your ankle, left hand back. Now, if that is elusive to you and you can't reach your ankles, you can put a strap around the front of the ankles to hold on to. Otherwise, we're ready to go. Press the pubis down, lift your head up, lift your chest up. Again, looking out towards the horizon, the tips of your shoulders coming back. Now, if you want to take this to the next stage, lift your knees as well. All right, and then let's give it away. Legs come down, release your hands. Fold your hands so that you can rest your head onto your forehead onto your hands. And then give a little bit of a rolling movement to your hips. Give them a little bit of a shake up. So the buttock muscle is nice and loose on the bones. Okay, good. And then you're going to come up and as a counter pose, we're going to do child's pose. So come right up. Now, this can be a really lovely pose if you're propped up, and it doesn't have to be. You could be completely propless, but it's one where you're going to stay there for about, how long? 3 or 4 minutes. So here's my prop set up, and I've got cushions that I can use to rest on. But I want to show you a variation which can be done on a chair, or it's actually done on 2 chairs. So we'll just take a break there from child's pose. And this is much kinder to knees and to hips, especially if you're not getting your bottom all the way down onto your heels. So this kind of setup, I'll still use a cushion. Means that you don't have to struggle with the hip movement. So, choose your version. And Ian, tried using the chairs. Yeah. Just passing the prop set up. Okay, so you're in child's pose. And you're giving a little bit of time for the buttocks to drop down onto the heels. And for your back muscles to release and soften away from the center spine. So your shoulders drop out, your shoulder blades drop out. And then focus on your back, and particularly the lower back, between the back ribs and the sacrum, the base of your spine. And bring your breath into that area where the back seems to open and inflate a bit on the inhalations. And on the exhalations, just drop a little bit more. Inhale, filling the back. You could picture it like a turtle shell. The shape of the back like a turtle shell, and you're inflating it with your inhalation. And then not deflating, but releasing on the exhalations. And then the last thing that I'd ask you to do is to picture the area where the kidneys are, and they're housed underneath the back ribs. And you're going to breathe into those very important and lovely organs and kind of puff them up a little bit. And then exhaling, releasing any stress from them. Inhalation, bringing more energy into the kidneys. And then on the exhalation, more relaxation. And just a few more gentle and soft breaths like that. And you've been kneeling for some time, so it's probably a good idea to release and start to come up. All right. And then back onto your mat in a standing position. Tadasana. And I think I mentioned earlier that I was suffering from a little bit of neck discomfort. I don't usually get that. That happens when you overdo, I think. Bring your hands up and place your interlocked hands at the base of your skull. This is such a simple and kind thing to do for your neck. So where your thumbs are, there's a bony ridge around the base of your skull. The thumbs can rest in the little hollow that's in the center of that ridge. And then just kind of send the message through your thumbs and generally through your hands to lift up in the most gentle way until it almost feels like your whole spine has elongated from the tailbone to the occiput. And at the same time, let your head be cradled into your hands. So you can just kind of lean back, so you have more weight onto your heels and just leaning back into that support. And then there's the length of the spine and the relaxation back into that position where now when you release your hands down, release your arms down, your head is more directly above your shoulders instead of forward. Then relax your arms completely. And we did the nice work through the toes when you were in the bridge pose. Lift and stretch your toes. Lift your little toe too. And then bring them back down onto the mat where they're firmly placed. Bring your hands to the front of your pelvis and find those two bony bits there, your front hip bones. And then through your hands lifting up, lengthen up through the hip bones, lengthen up through the pelvic floor. Good. And then the arms just relaxed by the side of your body once more. Good. Soften behind your knees. Notice if you're tightening your buttocks. We're going to move into a little flow with the forward fold position. So I'll turn sideways. Feet a little bit apart, standing on your 2 feet. Feel your footprint, feel your toes, heels and toes. And then on an inhalation, bring your arms forward and up. palms face forward, and ready to take Uttanasana, forward fold. And exhale, hands down, wherever they land, along your legs, along your ankles, along the floor if you're reaching that way. Let your head drop. Give your head a little bit of a shake out. Shake your head, shake your hair. And then bring your hands up just below your shin bones and straighten your arms and lift your chest and bring your chest forward. Bring the upper corners of your chest forward, that part that's near to your armpits. And then simply drop forward. All right. And then bring your arms forward and up. Inhale. And exhale down to your side. The first one of these, I'm always so slow that it doesn't really feel like a flow. But we'll get there. Inhale. Exhale. That's folding from your hips. Inhale, straight arms, lift your chest and concave your back. Exhale, drop. Inhale, go up. Exhale, arms back down by your side. Here we go. Inhale, third round, exhale. I'm counting the pace. It's always good if you're going at your own breath rhythm. Don't stress. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Okay. Let's add another stage to this, the balancing stage. Still starting in the same way. Inhale, you might look up. Exhale, look down, chin towards your chest. Inhale, concave back. Exhale, let go. All right, we're coming up into chair pose this time. Inhale, arms up, palms face in. Good. Let's hold that because it's so strengthening for your quadriceps, your thigh muscles. So sit your buttocks back into that imaginary chair. Good. And then we're coming all the way up, palms forward, and exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Now you know the drill. Inhale, head up, chest up. Exhale down. Inhale, chair pose, palms face in. Good, and we're holding it so that we can experience some strength in the pose. And more than sitting your buttocks back, just drop a little bit. Beautiful. Extend your elbows, extend your wrists, extend your fingers. Inhale, come up, palms face forward, exhale and down. Good. One more with chair pose like that. Good. Exhale. Inhale. Telescope your chest out. Exhale, drop. Chair pose, beautiful chair pose. Sitting back, knees back. And just before we finish, can you feel a little bit more weight through your heels, your heel bones? That's beautiful. And coming up, and arms down. Okay, let's add one more element, and this is the balancing part, the most fun of all. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, big breath, exhale. All right, for chair pose, we're going to come up onto the ball of the foot, so it's heels up for chair pose. Good. So stay on your forefoot, stay on the backs of your toes, heels are up. Come all the way up with the heels up. And all the way, arms down, heels down. Good. Here we go. We're doing things in threes. In breath. Beautiful. Out breath. In. Open your chest forward. Concave your back. Drop. Chair pose. Here we go. Heels up. Don't forget the heels up. And they stay up as you straighten your legs and arms down. And were you breathing? Did that go right out the window? Last one. Last chance. All right. We know this way so well. To chair pose. Heels up. Good. Heels stay up. How long can you stay up as you straighten your legs? Pretty good. And arms down. Good. All right. And how about just shake a leg, shake an arm, shake a head. Okay, very nice. All right, take up your phone block again. And let's do, it's got such a complicated name, Prasarita Padatanasana, which means just a wide leg forward bend. So take your block in front of you and have it on the high end and step your feet out. I'm going to have my hands on my hips, my shoulders relaxed, and then with your feet at a fair distance apart, do your rolling ankles thing. So we're not just rolling ankles, it's the knees too, isn't it? Internal, external rotation, beautiful. And then pause in the center, or your feet are centered, toes pointing straight forward. And then bring the blade of your hand, your little finger side of your hand, into the crease of your legs. And then bend from there. And what you're doing is you're bringing your buttocks back. That's what you did in chair pose. Now I want you to bring them slightly forward. And then from there, rest your hands onto the top of the block. Lead with your breastplate and bring your chest all the way forward. So the lungs and the heart, when they're receding like that, it feels like they're a little bit shy. So we want to bring the chest forward so the heart is elevated and coming out. Good. And then let's do a little twist there. So right hand onto the top of the block, left hand onto your left waist. Oh, actually, let's do it this way, much nicer. Bring your left hand onto your heart and then turn from there. Turn from the dorsal thoracic, from the back as well. Good. And then back to center and swap it over. And hand on heart, right hand onto your heart. And that's where you're turning from. Yes. And then back to center. And right hand back onto the top of the block. When you turned last time, you turned your head as well. So do it differently. Left hand onto the heart. Turn to the left side, but keep looking down at where the block is, where your hand is. And then take that shoulder back too. And then turning back to center, and left hand supports, right hand onto the breastplate, and then instead of turning your head, look down and lift that right shoulder. Good. We've got one more round. Things happen in threes. Right hand onto the block. Instead of turning with the elbow bent, you might now trial extending that arm up towards the ceiling. If it's difficult to do weight bearing onto the block, you could have your hand onto the floor with your knees slightly bent. And this time you're going to turn your head as well within your range of movement, so don't make it complicated or stressful. And swap it over. And here we go. Opposite direction. Beautiful movement, turning all the way. And then what's that like to extend up the arm? Take a little more weight off of the block. That arm stays straight so that your chest is lifted. Yes. Good. Looking down, both hands onto the block, and then heel toe walk in. Beautiful. And then come on up. Okay, there's two movements that are really great for mobility that we haven't done today. And maybe we will only have time for one of them. That's okay. So have a seat on your mat. And do you have a strap there? A strap is very handy for this pose. I'm pretty flexible, but I think I'll just prop up on a single blanket so I don't slump. Okay, and then your legs straight out in front of you. Do some wriggling around when you're drawing the buttocks back, one side, the other side. So you're squarely sitting on your sits bones. And then take your legs out into the splits. I'm doing a whole bunch of wiggling around so that I feel like I'm propped up on my sitting bones and that my legs have just the right extension. Too much, then you're going to feel like your hamstring's going to pop. Too little, and you're not challenging yourself. So just right. And then look at your feet and have your feet pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Pop your belt around your left foot. And if you're without a belt, you can just have your hand on the leg or hold your ankle somewhere along your leg. Otherwise, hold the belt as far along the leg as you can. So that makes your left leg extended. Relax that left shoulder and do a lean out towards the left leg. And rather than being in front of the leg or behind the leg, this is all lined up, the left ribs and the left leg. And then start by looking down at your leg, looking to the left side, and then just very slowly rotate your head so you're looking straight forward. And start to feel the left side lifting again, so not collapsing. And then bring the right arm up towards the ceiling. Good. When that arm is extended up, we want to line up not just your left side of your rib cage with the left leg, but your right arm. So for the most part, that means taking it back a little bit. Good. So this is the movement that I said is important, that we don't want to miss out on, is a sideways bend. And then come up all over again, and let's switch sides. All right, and then holding along the belt closer to your foot, and there's your right arm above your right leg, and just doing the lean out towards that side. You might find that the ribs are a little uncooperative, so just give them time as you relax onto that right leg. And then when you're ready, turning your head so you're looking at least straight forward, lifting up that right side of your chest, and now taking left arm over. Okay, good. And then come back up and slip your belt off. Grab the inside of your knees and bring your legs straight out again in front of you. Good. And now that you've done that opening through the side body, let's take that into child's pose. So we can do that in the child's pose kneeling position. I'll do that facing forward. And your hands, your arms will be in front of you as well. All right, so we're not staying there. Draw your hands back to you as you lift your chest. Walk your hands back, and then walk your hands over to the right side. Take a walk, hands walk around to the right side. Your chest is up to be able to do that. And walking around. You're not quite sure about how far you can go, and then you reach your limit. Then lift up your rib cage a little bit more and drag your right ribs over to the right side. Then lengthen out. So you're doing a pretty different kind of child's pose, all to the right. If your left buttock is lifted a little bit, let it ease back to your heel. Good. Take a walk around the other way. This works really well if you stay in the lifted position as you walk around, and even as you adjust into the pose and you're dragging the left ribs further to the left as you release down, shoulders down. All right, and then back to center. And let's undo the folded legs, extend them forward. And we're going to finish up in, the egg pose. So bend your legs and have your feet on the floor in the seated position. Best if you're not sitting up on a bolster or anything now. And walk your feet in as close as you can bring them to you so you don't roll back. And then lean into your legs and see if you can wrap your arms. So legs, feet together, and then your knees coming together. And basically you're hugging around the legs, close to your chest. Good. After I'm there for a few breaths, might get in a little bit tighter. So your legs down, your arms down your legs. Good. And then let's complete this by bringing chin towards your chest. And your back is rounded. Good. And then extend out your legs. And set yourself up for the yoga relaxation with I recommend a cushion or a blanket to support your head. Just spoil yourself a little bit with those extra props. And eye covering is nice, even if it's just a cloth. In these Fridays classes, we've been taking a little more extended Shavasana, yoga relaxation. So knowing that, get very comfortable. And you're the only one that can do that. So take the time that lets your body ease into your supports. If you've chosen to have your arms out to the side, not too far away from the body or close in, with the palms facing up. The shoulders and shoulder blades downward towards the buttocks. And then let's begin this process of letting go, scanning the body for various tension spots. Relax your creases of your elbows. Relax your armpits. And we did work with the legs, with the feet. So observe sensations in your legs and let them relax completely. Feel the toes soften. The weight of the legs and the buttocks settling into the floor. And then a little attention to the sense organs, most of which are located in the head. Relax your jaw and let it sink back slightly. And similarly, relax the tongue back from the teeth. Allow your eyes to sink back away from the eyelids. Those fine muscles that encircle the eyes, let them soften. And even relax any tension behind the eyes. More and more letting go of mental images as the sense of vision recedes. Relax the ears, the skin on your forehead. And as much as you've given time to release through the physical body, now bring your attention to the breath. We want the breath to become as quiet and as easeful as the body. You're not trying to control the breath or constrain it. You're just letting it go. Feel the inhalation, feel the exhalation. And as a measure to keep the mind from drifting off, add a little bit of increase to the inhalation. As well, the exhalation. Feel the breath deepen slightly on those two phases of the breath. And then begin to give more attention to the exhalation and let the inhalation just take care of itself. So there's still a slightly prolonged exhalation. And what you might notice is that even though you're not giving your full attention now to the inhalation, it tends to deepen anyway. Every exhalation allowing the eyes to soften more, to drop down more. To look downwards into the heart. Now take just a few more cycles of these longer exhalations, just winding the breath down in small increments until the breath becomes completely natural, organic. And then bringing your attention to the body once more. Feeling the pressure that the body makes into the props and into the floor. And without premeditating, without jumping ahead, not anticipating what's to come, just feel the body at peace and nourished by the practice that you've done, the care that you've given yourself. And whenever you like, you can make some small movements, fingers, toes, your head to the side. And almost reluctantly rolling onto one side. Give yourself a hug there as you're lying on your side. And then let's finish in the traditional way of sitting together.